What's going on, everyone? Happy Thursday. It's almost the weekend, all right? One more day and actually last show of the week, unless, who knows, it's trade deadline season, so we might be busier than we were expecting. But let's talk about what we have on the docket today. Well, Felix Bautista injury, it's official. He's on the IL. We'll explain what that means. Could he still be moved ahead of the deadline? And there's one Baltimore Oriole that is getting all the attention that maybe people didn't expect, but you might want to take a look at him because he might be the most valuable piece that the Orioles could trade at this moment in time. We'll go around football. NFL camp has started. The Commanders finally have a deal with their stadium, so there's no double stadium or two teams in one stadium. Zach, I know everyone in Baltimore wanted to see the Ravens and the Commanders share their own stadium. We'll explain that. And then there's a couple of viral moments that we'll talk about involving a Chuck E. Cheese. So we'll go back to, since it is Throwback Thursday, it seems fitting. But before we do all of that, actually, and we're going to try to do this more often, is every week, you guys know we like to have our little fitness test, which, Zach, we might still be doing that today. But we are going to talk with Sean Doyle in just a second. He's here in studio with Merit Clubs because you know what? In the summer and even just fall, winter, there's a lot of myths that need to be either tested or proven or debunked. So we're about to do that here. But before we introduce Sean, one person that is always here, it seems. He's got his White Star Sales hat on. It's used. It's worn. Mr. Zach Bollinger. Bolly, how we doing?
Feeling real good as we just turned a double play to get out of the inning. That's a nice little ground chuck there. Yeah, Thursday. Happy Thursday. Orioles game is on, so for those wondering, I will just be sticking around here after the show to do the post game. But yeah, Thursday, talking food. We're talking getting fit. You know, getting that summer by. What is it? Hot boy fall now.
Hot guy autumn.
Oh, hot guy autumn. That's what we're working towards. Hot guy autumn. That's what, you know.
We might have to think of, no, hot guy autumn. I like that one. That's still staying there. I was thinking about like fall boy something, but I think it's too close to fall out boy. Throwback Thursday, by the way. Can you name one song?
Fall Out Boy. Is that Centuries?
Yes. Wow. From the 2000s, baby, he got it right. But you know what? Maybe this is a good transition because I know at least I have somebody else here that is more of my age, Zach. But let's bring on, you saw him a couple weeks ago make his show debut, but he's making his studio debut. We got Sean Doyle in the building. Sean, welcome on in.
Thank you. Appreciate being here. This is a lovely studio.
Oh, thank you. You know what? We paid him to say that, Zach.
You did.
Check number one. With merit. Thank you. Hey, but we're trying to have more people in here. And since we're on this debate, though, Throwback Thursday, any songs that come to your mind?
Oh, my gosh. I'm a big, like Fall Out Boy is great.
Mm-hmm.
I really like, let's see.
Yeah, put you on the spot.
Good Charlotte.
There you go.
Good Charlotte, solid, right? I'm a big kind of like punk rock guy. So like Blink-182, Good Charlotte.
Yeah.
Green Day, things of that nature. Just love it.
You know what I think back to now with Good Charlotte is they had the anthem. That's a song, Zach. Mm-hmm. You know, I was trying to think of this. You would have been, I think, 4 or 5 when Madden came out. Ray Lewis on the cover for Madden 05.
Yes. That was the one game I played for. I didn't own another Madden up until Madden 14. That was the only
When
Madden
did you get the 05 Madden?
When I was like probably like 8 or something. Like that was one of those, like when I first got Madden, I was like, awesome. Well, I wasn't thinking years or anything. I was like, want the one with Ray Lewis on it.
Is that when they did the hit stick?
The hit stick.
Yes.
There it is right there.
Because that was, gosh, there was what's that song where it's like last day of school? There was
We Live Life Like It's the Last Day of School.
Last day of school.
But why I said Good Charlotte, they might have been 2004. I got to check it. But that was doing the mini camp drills.
Oh, I know. Oh, yeah.
And I'll never wanna be you. Yeah, beautiful voice. That brings me back, Sean.
Throwback Thursdays.
Throwback Thursday. Maybe you got to get in here more often.
On Thursdays.
On Thursdays. Could be Sean Doyle Thursdays. Well, for everyone also, hit that like and subscribe button. And Joey, it's okay that you're wrong. Vic was 2004. Ray Lewis was 2005. Maybe it'll be a different day for a Madden curse because that needs to also be debunked or be justified. But we're actually going to debunk some myths today here, Sean, right?
Fantastic.
So we have in the fitness space, we do a lot of work with Merit Clubs. I don't know if you guys have seen this giant sign right behind. Zach and I have been there to work on our fitness. I have done a boxing class now, which that will come out soon, and a bar class. But above all, I think the people want to know, Sean, kind of the ins and outs outside of maybe being in the gym, because sometimes it can be daunting. You know, what the hell am I doing?
For sure.
And some people are being fed information, pun intended, on what you need to do. So why don't we start on the fitness side? We have 6 total things here, and don't worry, we're going to talk a lot about baseball. We're taking care of ourselves here on the Ryan Ripken Show, and we're taking care of you. So there's 6 topics, 3 on the fitness side, 3 on the nutrition side that we're going to get into. And I think we start with the fitness because you guys know we do our fitness tests here.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see what it lands on.
And we're not doing this right now. It's just the example. I wanted to spin
40
it.
split squats.
We're not doing 40 split squats right now. But, you know, I think if you feel like that's going to make your legs extremely strong and bulky, right, you work out one place. So maybe we start with that, because I think there's a myth out there, Sean, that if you are able to target an area, spot reduce fat. Yeah, that, you know what? You do crunches, Zach, you do the obliques. It's going to get rid of those.
I'm going to lose the love handles.
Yes.
That's what.
And obviously that is the.
Not true.
Thank you.
So spot reducing fat, it just unfortunately doesn't really occur that way, right? The body loses fat systemically, meaning just all over. We can't necessarily locally lose body fat. So people might say like, oh, but like I can tone up this specific area. So like doing bicep curls helps to, you know, grow the bicep muscle, right? That is definitely true because you're locally stressing that muscle. But yep, I love it. Love the rooster curl.
I feel it.
It's there. But we just happen to lose body fat however our body kind of wants to. Unfortunately, right, we can't spot reduce it. We can, though, do some things that kind of help to improve our body fat loss by nutrition, right? Fitness, cardio, strength training, just activity in our daily living, right? Increasing that. That's going to help kind of, if our overall goal is to reduce fat, lose weight, that's how it's going to happen.
Yeah. So you're telling me that when I go to Zach and be like, hey, Zach, you just do this one exercise here. Let's do 100 V-ups.
Wow, that'd be impressive.
You're going to be shredded. Should we add that
to the wheel?
Add that to the wheel?
Don't add that to
100 V-ups today? Where's the pen?
But I think it's over here.
It's over here? Oh, so I can't. Dang, you're going to have to throw it to me at some point. But that's overkill. I think that's the biggest part here.
That would be like building muscle, not necessarily like the goal of burning fat.
Okay, so maybe then, if we're talking about how do you burn fat, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do you burn fat, right? I guess then a thing I've heard, carbs are the enemy, Sean.
Sure, yeah.
Carbs are the enemy. So if you eat less carbs, you're going to lose that fat.
I mean, technically speaking, yes, because we're talking about like essentially a math equation here, right? Mm-hmm. The goal of losing weight is to reduce calorie intake and increase calorie expenditure, right? So if I wanted to lose weight, and let's just for math's sake, right? If I ate a 2,000 calorie diet and I was just, you know, staying at the exact same weight, if I reduced that total weekly caloric intake by, let's call it 200 to 300 calories, right? Eventually I'm going to start to lose weight provided everything stays the same. Mm-hmm. Now, if I somehow go beyond that, regardless of the carb, the protein, the fat, the cake, the chicken breast, right? Calorically, if I'm over that, I'll start to gain weight. If nothing else, if everything else stays the same. Mm-hmm. So carbs not necessarily aren't exactly the enemy. What happens is we tend to overeat on these really highly like palatable foods, like the cakes, the cookies, right? The quesadillas, right? Delicious.
Guilty.
Gotcha.
Yep.
But those things tend to give us like higher calories and lower nutrient value, right? Called nutrient dense foods, right? So Carbs specifically, right, help with brain function, help with recovery, right? Help to, if you are training for a half marathon, right, you need carbs to recover. So carbs necessarily aren't exactly the enemy. They are actually just part of a really well-balanced diet. It's just, is that diet balanced? So if we don't know, right, talking to a nutritionist, talking to one of our wellness coaches, right, can give you more context of, where am I? Where do I fall within this spectrum? And how do I improve maybe my carb balance when I'm talking about my diet or my performance outside or inside the gym?
Yeah. I mean, the end of the day is also, everyone's different, by the way. I know that some people get Kevin and I confused as our other co-host. I'm 6'5" if I stand up straight, and Kevin is also 5'4" when he stands up straight. So very similar body types, right?
For sure.
So I think the point that you're trying to say, this is kind of the way. Everyone's different. You got to find the plan that works for you.
For sure.
Now, I will say, and shout out Nancy, Zach, when Nancy made the cookies when we were going down to our spring training trip, that was deadly for me.
Delicious.
Because they were unbelievable. I don't regret it for a moment, but I had to make a decision of, all right, if I had 5, 6 cookies,
one turned to 6 very fast.
It did. But so then it's just about having to make other decisions. And I know you should indulge yourself, I think is what we're saying. Indulge yourself.
Enjoy, yeah.
But it's the overeating is the problem, not, indulge, but there's
having
different.
The cookie probably wasn't the issue. It's when we started getting to the 6 and 7 in the day, that probably is where
for sure
it went.
So we talk about like just being well balanced within your like approach to life, right? So let's just take this cookie example.
Yes.
6 cookies, delicious, right? Probably contained over 1,000 calories of, from those cookies, right? But people would then say, oh, the cookie is unhealthy, right? Not necessarily, no, right? Well, what if you only had one cookie and that cookie is totally fine? Or better yet, right? I have a 4-year-old daughter. I use this example a lot. We all think that believe that, there's healthy and unhealthy foods, right? Lean chicken breast, lean meats, right? Vegetables, healthy foods. Cookies, cakes, Chipotle burrito, maybe. No hate on them. They're delicious.
They are
But
delicious.
sometimes can be considered unhealthy because of the cheese and the sour cream that all comes with it, right?
Yeah.
Higher calorically dense foods seem to be associated with unhealthy, quote unquote. But let's take that into context. If calories and reducing calories is the goal for weight loss and overall health is, kind of our goal, well, that's a balanced approach, right? We can't just completely negate something that we enjoy, right? So like, would having cake on your birthday be healthy or unhealthy? It's a healthy thing. Celebrate with your family. Enjoy it, right?
Good for the soul.
I made cake pops. Are you aware what cake pops are?
Yes.
Cake pops are delicious, right? I made cake pops with my daughter from scratch, and we had a delightful time. It was so much fun. She got the value of like making something with, her dad, making something from scratch and coming to fruition, which is teaching her some like decent values, later on in life. But we had one cake pop, enjoyed it thoroughly, and had a great time. Was that healthy or unhealthy?
I think it's
100% healthy.
Healthy.
Absolutely. So it comes with like, is the thing like unhealthy or bad, or is it the amount of the thing that is unhealthy or bad, right? It's a balanced approach. And again, we just have to kind of become aware of what that approach is, or what where those calories are coming from. The 6 cookies, maybe not necessarily the best, however, delicious. Right? I may not necessarily have these cookies as often, right? I might indulge myself now, right? Today specifically, but that one day does not define the week. And we don't have to derail ourselves, be like, oh, I'm done. I have to get off. Like I've failed this diet, right?
Yeah.
Today is today.
And I feel like actually that's a big issue, is the amount of people who will be like, oh, I ate 2 cookies today.
Today's done.
Yep. I screwed up today. I'll just eat this cake as well. Like I screwed, and then the next day it's, well, I screwed up yesterday. Whereas like you're saying, it's that like, hey, good. you ate something that you enjoyed. That does not derail your progress. It means in moderation. Do not, because so many people, I feel like, especially in weight loss journeys, they'll try to cut out everything. And then they're like, oh, it's bad. And that helps with, that brings cravings up and stuff.
That's like the absolutism, right? Either always or never, right? I'm never going to have this. And all of a sudden you have it, and man, you have all of it. That's like and probably a deeper topic than what we can get into today, but it's the relationship with your food, right?
Yeah.
Better, healthy relationship with the food that you eat, the better outcomes we'll have.
The not being hard on yourself is probably the number one thing with all this.
Sure.
Like, let yourself have a good time. If you want to have 6 cookies, like I did 7, Nancy, then you're going to let yourself have 7, but don't beat yourself up over the decision. You move on.
Don't make it a habit.
Don't make it a habit. Let yourself have fun. Don't realize that the day's ruined, and you keep moving.
Sure.
I think that's the part. I used to spiral a lot when I played baseball, Sean. We talked about baseball guy, by the way. And I know everyone's thinking, go Hounds, Zach, right? Exactly. Everyone was saying it. I could hear it. But I was always hard on myself. If I felt like I messed up, I let that snowball. Same thing with your fitness and your nutrition. So let's go into another myth then about where you're maybe feeling down on yourself, and it's going back to working out.
Sure.
Right? You want to get that pump. I played, and when I played, it was 2 hours of training, strength training. Maybe I tried to work on my speed, not known for speed, right? But attempted.
Sure.
And then I'd have another 2 hours of doing baseball, but that was training to be a professional athlete. Sure. And now at times I feel like, I'm trying to sneak in a 20-minute workout, and I don't maybe feel that I did enough. Like, my body doesn't feel sore. I don't wake up the next day, Sean, and go, damn, what a pump. I sit there and go, dang, did I even do accomplish anything? Can you debunk this? Is it still a good workout even if you're not sore?
Sure. So soreness is not a good reliant indicator of a good workout, right? Let's just kind of break down soreness in general, right? Soreness, or DOMS, which we would call delayed onset muscle soreness, right? Big fancy term, but just think DOMS, not DONS. DONS are great, right? But DOMS. This just basically means I've given my body or my system something new, right? Let's pretend that you haven't worked out in a while, and then all of a sudden we do a bunch of curls, a bunch of bench press, right, and a bunch of squats. You're going to be sore because our system is now, oh my gosh, I've just done something brand new, or something I'm not ready to receive. Ooh, shock. That's what DOMS is, right? If I do more eccentric load, or basically on the way down of a bicep curl, right? That's going to create more stress, right? And more quote unquote damage to the muscle tissue than the concentric portion, or the bringing up of the bicep curl, right? So that just means I've instituted something new, right? If we were to try to say, oh, was this a good workout? Well, one, did you work out, right? I think this day and age, consistency matters way more than the intensity.
Can you say that one more time?
Consistency matters more than intensity.
Write that down, Zach. Consistency of doing it.
Correct.
Thank you. Continue.
Right. So as we are on our fitness journey, I am a father of 1, soon to be father of 2.
Oh,
right.
Congratulations, Sean.
Thank you. So consistency for me looks like, can I do something daily that moves the needle forward in some capacity, whether it be mobility, flexibility, strength. There's too many facets of fitness for me to say a 20-minute workout is not good enough, right? A 20-minute workout continues to move the needle forward in the direction that I'd like to move it towards. In that way, I become this strong, capable, resilient individual. Soreness just means, dang, I just did something new, or I just did too much for my system to respond, right, in a maybe positive way. Don't get me wrong. We need to stress our bodies to grow our muscles. We're going to have some level of soreness. However, we shouldn't be so sore that we can't sit down and go to the bathroom or walk down the steps.
Yes, you don't have that feeling of the perception, Zach, leg day, and you got to squat and you're trying to get down to the toilet and you're like, oh man, the burn, right?
I don't think
that's not what I like strive for.
Me as a parent now, no, not anymore. When I was younger, right, and in my like teens and 20s, and I wanted to like grow muscle. Don't get me wrong, like I went heavy and hard, and I was sore, and I thought that was like the badge of honor. But now, when I want to be able to be capable of doing something like playing with my daughter, or helping a friend move, or just cooking dinner for my family, I don't want to feel overly sore, stiff. So we balance everything with strength training, with cardio, with mobility, with recovery. And again, if we just try to use soreness as an indicator of a good workout, that's not necessarily, again, going to be true. Let's have some like objective measures of, hey, I'm lifting more weight. Hey, I've gotten faster. Hey, like this doesn't feel as heavy or as hard as like last time. Those are really great indicators that we're moving the needle in the right direction.
Yeah, you change your thought process.
Yeah.
The process should be get your butt working out and stay with it, right? Consistency. Stay committed to the plan, and you don't have to overwork yourself. Find the package that works for you.
You got it.
I honestly, I mean, when we had you on here before, I asked for a 10, 20-minute workout. Hey, what works if I'm running low on time? I'm running around here because, heck, Felix Bautista just went on the IL, Zach. Oh, and then, by the way, Slater DeBrun just got signed, and maybe there's some other things happening, and I got to go and get on some calls and do some interviews, you know. I don't have as much time as I had, but you know what? I got to show up. I got to check the box, and you keep moving. Let's do one other fitness thing then, because I think where people get caught up with the workout side is the cardio, right? Sure. Cardio.
Cardio is the magic key.
Did you know Zach he was training to run a half marathon?
Yeah, that lasted it lasted 2 weeks, and then I hurt my foot on the beach, and then I ran 5 miles the next week and couldn't walk the next day, and was like, dang. All right. So
it's also out of nowhere. So by the way, if you're training, Zach's like, yeah, I'm training for a half marathon. I go,
yeah, it literally, the training started and then ended within a week because I couldn't.
Well, did you pick it back up?
No.
Why not?
This actually happened. I guess the training said this was like 4 weeks ago. So this wasn't months ago. There is still technically time. Maybe something happens.
Maybe.
I doubt.
I'll give you a challenge.
Challenge.
Can you still bike?
Yeah.
Okay. So from a cardio standpoint, if we're talking about cardio, right? We need to have a relatively robust cardiovascular system. Question for you.
Yeah.
Does the heart know what form of cardio you are doing?
I don't think so.
No, it doesn't. It just knows that I have to beat harder and work harder. So if we're still wanting to train for a half marathon, don't get me wrong, you need to be able to run. But from a cardiovascular system, right, the heart doesn't know that it's beating harder or not. It just knows that it has to. So whatever mode that we need to do, right? So if our foot is hurt, no problem. We can still bike with no pain.
Yeah.
Still pushing the needle forward in the direction that I'd like it to go.
Wow, that's actually, I guess that does make sense of like, even though it's not the same, exercise, especially when you talk about trying to improve cardiovascular, it doesn't necessarily matter.
You can do, it's even for doing a workout, like if you're doing a workout every minute on the minute, if you do a 10-minute workout and you're not having a break, your heart rate's going to rise, right? You're lifting heavier weights and you have a shorter break between sets, your heart rate is going to rise just because of the activity. The only thing that we know that the heart knows, I guess the heart only knows what the heart wants, right? Love.
Wow, that was deep.
That was deep.
This happens every show.
This happens you know what? Someone's got to do it. The heart knows what it wants. It just doesn't know exactly what the best case is for cardio, because there's a lot of different ways to accomplish that.
Sure.
Also, though, debunk this myth. Cardio is the best form to lose weight.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not exactly true. Don't get me wrong, right? Cardio is great for expending calories, right? If I'm going to go run for 20 minutes versus walking for 20 minutes, right? The run is going to burn more calories than the walk, right? But alone, it's not going to lead to long-term, like sustained weight loss, right? We know that muscle burns more calories, right, than fat does, right? Cardio is going to reduce, right, maybe a little bit of that fat. But if we don't also strength train, if we don't also look into our diet, if we don't also look into some of our habits and behaviors, right, It's like cardio is one piece of the puzzle, right? And there's, a couple of pieces of this puzzle, right? There's 6, 7, 8, 9 different pieces of the puzzle. We can't just assume that this one piece of the puzzle, because yes, it does reduce calories, is going to like be the end all be all for long-term success, right? There's too many pieces that come into play, from a strength training standpoint to a stress management standpoint to a sleep standpoint, right? I would argue that your recovery from your workouts is actually probably a bigger indicator than your cardio, right, for your long-term success, right? So questions as I got, deeper into coaching athletes, deeper into like coaching like our general population clients, right, at Merit, is going to be like, how hard are you training? Great. Are you recovering harder than that?
Yeah.
Right? Because I think, again, of going back to the muscle soreness thing, right, we create damage to our muscles, right? That helps them get a little bit bigger. We get stronger, right? But the only way we actually get stronger and get bigger is not through the action of like strength training, right? If you were to do a set, or if both of you were to do a set of, the max amount of, squats that you could do, right? Let's just say you took your body weight on a barbell and you squatted, however many times. Let's say it was like 20 times.
Yeah, 100 times.
100 times, because you're so strong.
Consecutively. Yep.
Right. Your next set, you would not be able to do the exact same amount. It would be way harder, right?
Yeah.
That's because we just got a little bit weaker, right? How do we get stronger? Is through the recovery process.
The recovery. How do you build muscle? You got to lift, work out, or put stress on the body. How does the muscle grow? You got to recover and give yourself time to maximize.
I have a question about this, and maybe another myth. I feel like a lot of things that I saw over the years was, after you lift, you have quote unquote a certain amount of time to get as much protein as possible. You have to get all protein in 30 minutes after you lift. Is that true, or is there more to it?
So there is some science behind like nutrient timing, right? So if you just work out, your muscles have this window of what's called protein synthesis, meaning the protein that I ingest from the food or the shake or the supplement, whatever have you, that you're getting, is going to go directly into my muscles. Yes, to a degree, but I think for the vast majority of us, it's actually probably total protein intake that matters more, not as much as the timing of the protein. So like, in order to build muscle, right, here's a little like tidbit, right? We would need to be at 0.8 to 1.2 grams per pound of body weight, right? Of all the research that is out there, right, the consensus is generally right around that, number. If I'm in that window for the day, right, I'm in a good spot to build more muscle. If I work out and then don't get this protein in me 30 minutes after my workout, that's not going to like be detrimental to you wanting to grow in size or grow in strength, right? It just, your body will process that protein regardless of the window of timing. So like comparing apples to apples, right? Let's just focus on total protein intake versus the timing of it. Because if you time it really well, but you only get like, if you need, let's say 150 grams of protein, but you only get like 80 because you're focused on timing. Well, what's the...
Just get, essentially what we're doing is not everybody is cookie cuttered to the amount of protein that you need, but there is a understanding of there is times to maximize what protein you are consuming.
For sure.
And all of the above, right? It's about you. And sometimes if you feel like it's overwhelming, that's what Sean provides with Merit Clubs, where you sit there and not only with guidance, with what to do, with training, with experience, where this isn't going to be what works for Zach Bollinger, which there's a lot that needs to work for Zach Bollinger to get ready for his half marathon, is what I'm saying. Not because Zach's doing great. It's a half marathon that we're worried about.
That's for sure.
But to tie the last two things in here, Sean, and we'll let you be on your way. Then with the eating side, is there a myth to it that if you eat too late at night, that's going to store more fat in your body? And do you have to eat every 2 to 3 hours in order to have a fast growing metabolism?
Sure. So those two things kind of go hand in hand. So again, let's talk about like what the goal, right, is in order to lose weight, gain weight, whatever have you, it's total caloric intake throughout the day and even into the week, right? The timing of when that occurs doesn't mean that I'm going to store fat any more than any other time, right? So if I have food in the morning versus food in the afternoon versus food in the evening, it's all just calories, right? And calories are, again, simply just energy units, right? There's not fat units. Where I think people tend to equate the eating late at night to excess like weight gain is because, well, like you've already reached your caloric intake for the day. And then all of a sudden at 11 o'clock at night, you're like, I'm going to have some like cheese and popcorn, or I'm going to have like a hot dog because I'm really hungry, whatever have you, right? Late night snack for me would be like a cookie. Love cookies, by the way.
Love cookies.
But again, like I think it's, you've already reached your caloric intake for the day. You've now had excess calories. It's not necessarily that you ate late at night. It's that you had more calories, right? And then as far as the metabolism is concerned, eating 2 to 3 hours is going to boost your metabolism, maybe to a negligible amount. But really what happens when people eat more, I guess, frequently is they are less hungry throughout the day, and that reduces the potential to overeat. So we know that, at least maybe we don't, right? That our energy expenditure is based on our basal metabolic rate, or just how we burn calories throughout like the day to just simply live, right? Our activity level, our muscle mass, right? So the greater muscle mass that we have, the more calories we're going to burn at rest, right? This is why lean muscle tissue and greater muscle mass is actually advantageous, especially as we go to an age, right? Zach, you may not know this because you're so young. However, like
2000s, baby. Exactly. 2000, baby.
Yeah, 2000.
But in terms of eating consistently, right, it's not necessarily going to boost the metabolism like people may think, right? Rather focus on improved lifestyle habits, greater muscle mass, and just high quality sleep.
Oh, sleep might have to be another one we're gonna have to dive into down the road here. That you know what? That's already the next one right there.
I could take up the entire time of your
sleep. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, I'm with you, because that's the one thing for me that I need to focus on the most. But Sean, I appreciate you taking time with us. I'm glad I have someone in here that appreciates the 90s music and the feel. Obviously,
I was literally 1 for 1 today so far. So I don't know.
Okay.
Like, we're talking. What have you done?
I thought you were going to go. Thanks for the memories. That was a pretty pretty simple one.
Right.
Simple.
Thanks for the memories. That's a good one.
You don't know that one.
Yeah, actually, that was one of my. Thanks for the memories was one of my, like, when you were younger, like, walk up song things.
Oh, that's
nice to me. Thanks for the memories. Thanks for the memories.
You can sing it a little bit louder next time, though. You don't have to whisper.
But I was trying to get the tune with it. If I go any higher, we're all over the place. My voice can't go that anymore.
Oh, because it could before.
5th grade,
4th grade. You kidding me?
Things happen.
Wow.
Some things happen. That I was in choir
before things happened.
4th grade.
And then some things changed for you, Zach, and probably a lot of people.
The voice got a little deeper after that. It cracked a lot more when I tried to go that high.
I'm putting 2 and 2 together with this, Zach. I think I had a similar experience. But Sean, next time we're going to talk about sleep.
I love it.
Next time also, since Zach is giving up on his quest to be a half marathonist.
Maybe I just got to commit to a full marathon in 2026.
Maybe, but then also Sean can help us with some form.
Oh,
yes. Form technique.
Oh, yes.
That'd be great content right there.
Oh, that'd be fun. And kind of like maybe a little bit of if you squat or move like this might be a reason why.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Right. Here's this restriction that you may not have known.
Yep. There it is. And then also, how do you complete an activity with a golden retriever impacting your movements? That's going to be the other part. It's Ollie gets excited. But you got to play as Happy Gilmore, the movie explained. You got to play it as it lies. So you got to play, or you got to work out as Ollie does his thing. Because this is his studio.
Right. He owns it.
He owns it. Well, he
thinks he does.
He leases.
We're just living it.
You're just living it. But Sean, I got your email on here, guys. sdoyle@mericlubs.com for those that are listening, because this will be out on the podcast platforms later to listen. So if you have any questions, any thoughts, or you're interested in doing work with Sean, sdoyle@mericlubs.com. I got it right?
You got it. Perfect.
Right. Well, perfect, Sean. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Gentlemen, thank you.
And look forward to having you in here next time to help us on our fitness quest.
I love it. I'm here to help.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sean. Have a great rest of your day, all right?
Appreciate it, guys.
Sean Doyle, everybody.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
I like having a 90s baby in here, Zach. I don't know if you've noticed. I've said that 3 times now.
I was going to say, you have. Every once in a while you brought it up.
I did. And just as he's walking out, Sean, I appreciate you for being born in the 90s. Thank you very much.
Have a great one, Sean.
Have a great stinking day. Beautiful. But guys, in all seriousness, why we like to do these segments, and it works out right now with, I already saw your face, so I know that something wasn't good.
Yeah, Kowser just missed a 3-run shot by maybe a seat over foul.
Yeah.
God, tough scene.
Yeah, and Laura, yes, bravo to Sean with this, because is that a new graphic?
I think, yeah. So I don't know if you've noticed, StreamYard's been updating a lot recently.
It's a lot. There's a lot going on
actually,
here.
you know what? This might have been me.
Did you do this?
I don't think so. But I'm not going to sit here and say that I didn't.
So, in general,
I was playing with stuff earlier.
Oh, goodness gracious. I kind of like it.
I do too.
I don't hate it. But, the point is here, we are going to obviously talk a lot of sports and a lot of baseball and a lot of Orioles and Ravens and around all the sports and even the viral moments. There's another one we're going to talk about besides Mr. Chuck E. Cheese. We're also trying to help our community out. Everyone that listens to us, I think in the fitness space, and if I could be vulnerable for 1 second, for me retiring, it was a hard thing for me to try to figure out what I exactly wanted to do after I was playing. And most people, even when you play or you don't, they need a guidance on what you want to do. And also you can be really hard on yourself if you don't feel like you're reaching exactly what you want. So a guy like Sean, that's what he does for a living. He tries to help those people create a plan, and so they can achieve their goals and realize every single goal is different. It's whatever you're trying to accomplish. And that's what I'm figuring out here. I'm not trying to be like Zach, Kevin, Brad, or Rocco. I'm trying to figure out what the heck I'm just going to be moving forward. Who is Ryan Ripken? And maybe that's a deeper conversation for a different day, Zach. Who is Ryan Ripken?
Maybe Rip After Dark.
Maybe Rip After Dark. We can do that on the channel for the channel members. If you click that join button, you got a Rip After Dark. Maybe that'll happen tonight. Maybe we'll get a little frisky. But, guys, new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. The Orioles are playing right now. They're currently leading the Guardians. Things can change. But let's get into the juicy conversations, because if you listen later, that game's going to be over. But you know what's still going to be the same, Zach? The result of Felix Bautista being moved to the injured list. Yes, that is the main, I shouldn't say it's the main storyline, but that is the most recent when it comes to players on the Orioles big league roster. Last night against the Cleveland Guardians, Felix was not available. Called down and said, I got a discomfort. I can't play. And the Orioles are saying we're going to seek more opinions.
And real fast, before everyone, because I know the big thing last night was another classic example of Tony Manzolino's just in over his head. How do you go to Kittredge in the 6th and 7th, knowing that you don't have Felix Bautista? Felix called down in the 7th when was starting to warm up to take over. They were going to give Sir Anthony the 8th, Felix the 9th, and then Felix called down. So that is why I know last night a big thing was, well, if we knew we didn't have Felix, why did we not use Sir Anthony? Why did we not go different routes? Why did we use Kittredge so early? They found out middle of the 7th. So that gives a little bit. It also was before he even stepped on a mound. It was while he was warming up, doing his normal warm-ups, that he said he felt some discomfort and called down and said he wasn't able to pitch yesterday. And I think they're being more cautious. So that's kind of just what we know right now.
Yep, that's what we know right now. And the reality here for the Baltimore Orioles is that you got to get Felix healthy. In general, this is about him. And you can see right there, this was the move. Kate Stroud was recalled from AAA, and Felix, right shoulder discomfort. And you're probably wondering, does that mean he's not going to get traded now? Well, you can get traded if you're on the IL, but it was already a long shot to be moved in general because you were going to have to get blown away by a deal. Like someone was going to have to give you something so ludicrous that they would make the deal, right, Zach? So factoring that in, that Felix now is not healthy, and if a team was going to be so bold, do they really feel this bold when they are depending on, if they acquired a guy like Felix, to win this year? I don't think so. And I think that Felix, the number one priority is you need to get that dude healthy. And for the Orioles, it's not that I hate using the word you're punting a season at all. I really don't like that because the season has value. The season matters because your players continue to go out there and need to figure out how to be big leaguers. You got to figure out how to deal with the tough times. And then, yeah, you can bounce back. But for Felix's case, a guy that came off Tommy John, that proved that he was back to being an all-star caliber closer, I want to make sure my big dog, my stopper in the back end of the bullpen is going to be on the right trajectory to help the Orioles when the time comes. But the Orioles, another injury, it's always something, Zach. And I'm not laughing at
you
the
laugh
injury
because you don't want to cry. Like you laugh because it's one of those things where it's, let's be honest, it's comical at this point because it's like it was comical when they were on their fourth catcher, not their sixth. You know, it was comical on the, like, it's gotten to a point where there's nothing left to do but just kind of laugh and put your hands up like, yep, like what else could happen this season? It's just super disappointing. I already said on my reaction show earlier, if there is, unless they do an MRI, they see everything is squeaky clean and they're like, no, you just, like, there was some soreness there. Like, you're good. Like, there was absolutely nothing. There's anything, any minor tweak, anything, see you in 2026. I would not risk Felix Bautista coming back if they're like, oh, hey, you can, he can be back by late August. Why? Why? Let him, do his stuff, do his off-field stuff, to stay healthy. But there's no reason to risk that at this point. So for me, I'm okay if we don't see Felix Bautista the rest of the year if it means that he's healthy for 2026.
I agree. I think right now it's too early. We're not going to jump to the conclusions. But for Baltimore, look, this would be a way different conversation, Zach, if the Orioles had come out of the break and had been playing some really good baseball. But right now, 2 straight series out of the break, they've lost, right? And now they are going to have to make some really clear-cut decisions because they are a week from the deadline. And Felix Bautista is your most prized asset that, is out there with this kind of conversation. But you really got to protect him then. You really got to protect him. Because at this point, if he's healthy enough to pitch, by all means, let him go out there and do his job. Baseball, it's his job to be the closer for the Baltimore Orioles, right? But if it's something where it could be a longer-term situation or it's going to require a couple months, you're going to err on the side of caution here because as the Orioles sit 13 games under 500 right now, and the reality setting in that the uphill battle might be too far to climb because they sit 9.5 out of a wild card spot at this moment. Yeah, you're looking at how to preserve some of your big time players for 2026. And for Kate Stroud, it's a good opportunity to see if he can continue to find a spot here in the Orioles bullpen. I would even argue with this, Zach, with these injuries, a lot of guys are going to get opportunities to see if they're going to have a spot moving forward. And I'm not saying it's pretty. I'm not saying it's great.
I'm saying I hope. Like, I hope you're right. Because we also said the same thing about Kobe Mayo when Mountcastle went down, and we saw that's not necessarily happening as well. Like, and this is what I said earlier today on Kevin and Zach React. I want the average age of players playing in a Baltimore Orioles uniform in September to be like 25. Like, if, you know, and I kept saying this, I said this last night, this is nothing against Ramon Urias. I have watched your Ramon Urias sit on a bench for 12 straight days, come up in a massive moment, and hit a go-ahead homer. I'm not worried about Ramon getting every day at bats. I know what Ramon Urias can be. If he's on this team in 2026 as a bench bat, I know he's reliable in that situation. I don't need to see Ramon Urias batting or starting every single day. I would rather see the guys like Kobe Mayo after the deadline, Dylan Beavers, Sam Basayo if everything checks out with the OB and he's back and healthy. Those guys need to be getting opportunities. We know if you keep Ramon Laureano and then you're like, okay, we're picking up the option, he's going to be that guy next year. You know, he's going to be the right-handed outfield bat. Beautiful. He can play. He can start every other day. Let's get some young guys in that we want, because this is the perfect opportunity. Because as I said last night, you can't go into 2026 and be like, okay, we're going to give these guys an opportunity to see what they can do, and we're trying to compete. September 2025 is going to be the time where you can tell guys, hey, we're giving you 20 games in the big leagues. This isn't your only shot, but we're going to toss you in the fire and let's see what happens. Let's let you fail. Let you get that initial, like almost kind of what they did with Gunnar back end of 22, when it was like, hey, I mean, now Gunnar came out, he hit the home run in his first game and he did pretty well, but it was very much like, hey, dude, you're playing.
You're up here. You're up here to play. The Orioles do. Well, let me back this up. The Orioles have proven that they will let certain players go out there and play. But the reality of that was there's only two. It was Adley Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson that went out there and played consistently. Now, Gunnar got off to a better start in 2022. Adley had a little bit of the slow one, but, you know, maybe the pedigree, the timing, the need that they were committing to him running out. But everyone else, Zach, there's been a somewhat of a slower timeline. Jackson Holliday being the number 1 overall prospect last year, he was not an everyday guy when he came to the bigs. He was being platooned and trying to be protected, and obviously got off to the really slow start. Colton Cowser and Jordan Westberg, when they debuted earlier back in 2023, same concept. But the Orioles in 2024 committed to playing Jordan Westberg consistently. They said it during camp. And then when they broke spring training down in Sarasota, he played. And Jordan Westberg played a lot, and he played very well. Since then, though, there's been an up and down of those commitment to the at-bats. And again, it's the internal struggle of, do you play prospects or you're trying to win? So if you're trying to win every game, that's by any means necessary. I argue you got to play your prospects because it's going to help you long-term. And for the Orioles, though, right now you are at the crossroads where you need to have answers on certain guys. The conversation of last year being a year early from identifying your prospect, that's gone now. Yeah. And this is the true time, because guess what? Guess what the expectations are going to be next year in 2026, Zach? Win. They are expected to win next year, and if they do not win, then this grace period and this evaluation of what happens, this isn't me hoping for anything. This is just what will happen. It's business. If your team doesn't reach your goals, you start to evaluate. So the Orioles didn't reach it this year. They changed managers. They're evaluating internally. If it's again happens next year, they're going to evaluate again, and they might make more drastic changes. Yeah. And one thing I want to say, at least on the defense side with Mike Elias, by the way, and I understand that people are going to be fire him, get rid of him. Look where this organization has gone. Prisoners of the moment is what I'm seeing with this ball club, right? And I am not saying that what they've done philosophically has been the right things, because, Zach, I've talked about this all the time. I think there's more fundamental issues that they have to fix. This isn't just, well, you fire the GM and it's going to save everything. For all the negative you want to say about Mike Elias, don't forget the positive of who they've drafted. So, yeah, you can say the development's been skewed. Well, guess what? Jordan Westberg is an all-star. Gunnar Henderson is I'm buying Gunnar for the next decade. Gunnar Henderson, all-star. I still have faith in Adley Rutschman. Colton Cowser's proven to be an all-star caliber player. Jackson Holiday, who wasn't the consensus #1 overall pick, they took him there. He has now proven he's going to be an everyday big leaguer with all-star potential moving forward. So with all the negative comments that people want to put at the front office, I get it, because the reason all this happened, it starts with the organizational leadership, and that's been a failure for the 2025 season. No doubt about it. But they should have the right, because of what they've done for the last 3 straight seasons, to try to right the ship. Winning 3 straight, or having a winning record in 3 straight years for an organization that's been to the playoffs 6 times in 41 years, and all of a sudden you're going to hit a panic button and go, screw this, get them out of here because of 1 year. That bothers me. And you could say, oh, Ryan, they tanked for years. The Orioles were bad in 19. 20 is half a year because of COVID.
And actually, they weirdly played very well in 2020. I think people forget that. I mean, it was a very I think it was like with 20 games left, like the Orioles were like 3 games out of a playoff spot. Like it was a very weird, like there was a chance the Orioles were just going to mess around and go to the playoffs that year. Like that was 2020. I don't even count as a year. That was just. So
look at that though. I hate that argument. It's not me being a homer. And because again, I've already talked about, I don't think that there's certain fundamental things they're not doing right in the minor leagues and the big leagues. That's evident. That's where they are right now. Right. But to sit here, the Orioles in 19, you knew they were going to be bad, and they were. 20, they were 25 and 35, I believe, Zach. So in a COVID-ridden year, that's not awful, and it's 60 games. Yeah. It's not good. It's not awful. No. 2021 was awful. 2022, they had a winning record then.
Yeah.
So 2.5 years. 2018, the Orioles actually went for it to win. They did. And then that's when everyone got fired.
Yeah.
So context matters here when they're saying 7 years. There's been 2.5 years of the Orioles big league team being like absolute poo. 3 really good years overall from a bigger glance. And now,
disappointing.
Most disappointing.
I think that you can still salvage 2025. And I think the only way that you make 2025 a complete failure is if in the back end of August and September, you don't see what you have with young guys. Take advantage of the fact that the goal is not to win this year anymore. The goal, and I talked about this on Kevin and Zach React last night. I said, I will mention the scoreboard. I will, because that still matters, but I will not be talking about the games in relevance to who won, who lost. The rest of the season, what we talk about on the post game is how did Jackson Holiday look? What's the progression look like there? How's Kobe Mayo looked? How does the team look? Oh, Gunnar Henderson's looking great. These guys that are going to be a part of it. This is what the new goal of 2025 is. It's unfortunate that we're having this conversation on July 24th, because I think a lot of people were hoping this would be what guy can we get for the run. But tough luck. Well, that didn't happen. Look at the injured list. Look at all the close games they could have won. It's not happening this year. So now the only way that you make this a total failure from top to bottom is, okay, we're going to just ride this out. Nothing's going to change. And then next year we'll see what happens with these young guys. If you can get Dylan Beavers, you can get Sam Basayo, you get some of these guys that are down there raking and proving it that they can deserve an opportunity. You give them an opportunity. I mean, hell, I'll tell you right now, nobody's going to care about how bad 2025 was. If they play Dylan Beavers this year, he looks like a star. Next year, he comes out, he has a Colton Cowser rookie type season. Sam Basayo gets his opportunity now, puts it together, gets his feet wet, goes out there next year with a leg up because he's now had his opportunities and can hit the ground running better. That's what this 2025 rest of the year has to be used for. It's about development, about putting the organization in the best situation possible going forward. If we run out the same lineup all of September, all of the rest of, the back end of August, because I'm not going to be one of those people that's like, trade deadline, every prospect has to be up. They're going to service time manipulate people. At this point, why wouldn't you? If it's going to be, keep Dylan Beavers down an extra week and you get him for the rookie, get his rookie status next year, why wouldn't you? I'm not going to argue about that. But where it becomes, organizationally how to save this season is by understanding a little bit more of what you got, because there is no pressure to win anymore this season. That the win-loss column is there, but it's also like, it's disappointing that you're not winning. But now, since the playoffs aren't happening, 500 ain't happening, it looks like your new goal is to figure out what the heck you got for 2026 and move on from there. Because if you just go in and finish 2025 and we still are questioning what do we have in Sam Basayo, now I'm not saying you're going to know who the player is after 20 games, but if you're still questioning, oh, I wonder what Sam will look like when he comes up, I wonder what Dylan will look like, I wonder what XYZ player will look like, then it's an issue. If you can get these guys opportunities in 2025, that's the way to salvage a very disappointing season, at least in the back end. Figure out what you got so that you can better assess for 2026.
And it's not going to be a perfect situation, by the way, but this year still matters tremendously because of the development side. And also, I'll argue the guys that are in the big leagues that have gone through a lot of these troubles, some could use a reset going into the offseason. Others need reps. Others need at-bats. Like Colton Cowser, for me, it's so important for Cowser to get at-bats down the stretch because he's missed so much time being injured. Jackson Holiday continuing to get at-bats is going to matter. Yeah. Whoever you want to give your at-bats to, I agree with that, Zach. But the one thing, Chris, I see you here about saying you have to be objective and honest about the situation. And let's be clear, the past calendar year has been rough, not just the 2025 season. I agree. I'm not saying since June of last year that they have not had issues. But at least last year, that team had enough to get to the postseason because of their unbelievable first half, and they were playing, treading water. They still accomplished the goal of getting to October, and they had a chance to win a very winnable series against Kansas City where they did not get the job done. But for the second straight year, they were back in the postseason. So then you were trying to figure out, was it more of, honestly, Zach, I think what you figured out was this wasn't just about injuries to a team anymore. Yeah. This was about a fundamental problem, and that's why 2026, this is now the moment. How do you change how your team plays? Mm-hmm. Last year, you weren't sure. Going to this year, it was injuries. We're going to get those guys back, and we're going to be fine. Well, injuries happened again. It doesn't help, but the style of play has been bad. Yeah. So now you got the answer over a year. Fundamentally, we got to change things. I pulled up this graphic the other day, Zach, and I'm going to about hitting not mattering as batting average for hitters not mattering. I hate that. I hate that that's an argument. And here's an example. I put up this stat last night on X. I think this is it. Hoping. Look at the top 10 list for batting averages right now. If you're looking at that list, there's only one team, and they're now 5 games, 4, 5, 6 under 500 in the Marlins. Every other team is 500 or better on that list. Toronto has the highest batting average, and they lead the American League East, the toughest division in baseball. The Astros are a juggernaut, still hitting 259. How about the Tampa Bay Rays? Putting the ball in play. And you can go down the list. Cubs, Yankees, Dodgers, Phillies, Cardinals, Red Sox. And the point that I try to make with this is, well, they can go around with pitching and all this. The Red Sox are one of the worst fielding teams, but their pitching and their hitting is top 10. The Blue Jays have the 20th worst ERA in baseball, or 20th best, I should say. So when we're sitting here going, well, damn, they're winning because of pitching. No. They are doing little things right enough to find ways to win games. Baltimore has not done that. And that's where the identity lies. I don't care who the guys bring in, Zach. I care about, are you making the winning plays enough? Are the fundamental plays being done? And it's not about whether it's an error or not on the field, by the way. I want to clarify that. It's not about errors. It's about plays or pitches or opportunities that are lost because those situations are not being maximized. And Mike, I see you was saying about a 250 hitter with 40 jacks, an MVP candidate, and a 300 hitter with 3 home runs is a nice player. I'll just be honest. I think we can't have it both ways. You need to have
both players.
You need to have both players on your team. Like, I hate that people knock Luis Urias all the time. Okay, yeah, Luis Urias ain't going to hit 40, 30 jacks. But at least I know Luis Urias can be a building block for our team.
How about this? I'll use an example because he's absolutely, if you've been watching the Orioles any of the past 4 days, I've put out multiple tweets about how playing against him is legitimate hell. Steven Kwan has how many career home runs? I mean, he added 2 today. Steven Kwan is without a doubt the most annoying baseball player to ever play against. Like, he does not strike out. He puts the ball in play. I mean, this is before today, only 6 homers on the year. He's not a power hitter, but if you want to talk about a guy that makes an impact in every single, he's a platinum glover. He's going to bat about he's batting 285 this year. That'll go up. But in 24, he batted 292. So he's going to hit around 22. He batted 298. Going to bat around 300. He's going to work the count. Like, you need players like that. Like, that is, Steven Kwan is never going to win an MVP. That could be a horrendous take if he somehow puts it together and wins an MVP next year. But Steven Kwan's not going to win an MVP. But I'll tell you one thing. There's a reason that if you look around the league and the rumors right now, the whole league's paying attention to Cleveland. Not because of, what can they do? They're mad that they're beating the Orioles right now because there are a lot of teams who called about Steven Kwan. Because there are a lot of teams that they think if they added that bat to their lineup, that puts them on a different stratosphere. And I'll be real with you, it does. Having a guy like Steven, if you add Steven Kwan to this lineup, that's a guy who changes the course of a season, because it's almost like, Ryan, who's the guy last year? We interviewed all those Orioles. Cole Irvin straight up said it in August of last year. He's like, weren't we all just waiting for Jordan Westburg to get back in that lineup? Like, they're just glue guys who hold lineups together. For the Orioles right now, it's Adley and Westburg. Those have consistently been the guys to do it. You need guys like that. And that's, where the Steven Kwans, the Luis Urias come in. Yeah, they're not going to put up 40 jacks, 30 jacks, 20 jacks. They're not going to bat, have a 910 OPS. But at the end of the day, if you watch the games, I'll tell you one thing. Jose Ramirez is one of my favorite players in baseball. I think he is the most underrated player in baseball. He had the massive homer against us, multiple home runs this series. He's been a menace. I would take pitching to Jose Ramirez a million times out of a million this series over Steven Kwan, because it's like that's a guy who just, and Jose is very similar. You earn every single out. They're not going to give up an at bat. They're not going to go out there and go.
You need a complementary of players in your lineup.
Yeah.
That's where we're going with this. It's in theory, if you go, we have 9 guys that can hit 30 home runs and drive in 100 RBIs. That's great. But also, how those guys be those RBI players, the situations that others can help put them in, if that makes sense. Steven Kwan sets up opportunities for Jose Ramirez. I would love to actually know how many times Steven Kwan's been driven in by Jose Ramirez. Oh. It's got to be high, right? Because what Jose Ramirez does and those RBI guys, they're like, you know what? My job is I got to get this done by any means necessary. And in this day and age, that thought process maybe isn't necessarily as vital. You have to find a different way to get things done. We could talk about this over and over and over again. But for Baltimore is your complementary of players. The reason why the Guardians have won games is because their players have played complementary over time. And I want to reemphasize this. The Guardians' starting pitching last year was not very good. But you know what they were great at? Manufacturing runs, and their back end of the bullpen was lights out. They were really good at 2 things, and that propelled them to go to the postseason and ultimately go and play a very entertaining series, which they lost against the Yankees. But that's how you move forward. Find your identity, make fundamental plays, and be excellent at those couple things to continue on your way. And you know what? We're going to continue on our way on the show. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We are live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. Appreciate you guys. See you on Facebook. Talked with Merit Clubs earlier today about how you can help yourself in the fitness and health space. Just talked about Felix Bautista. Got a whole hell of a lot more to talk about here. Zach, I do want to get into the Ramon Laureano conversation in a moment.
Yeah, and just real fast before just some housekeeping. Do want to, on some positive news.
Yeah, that's
for the Orioles.
Positive.
Two things that you can say is positive. One, Slater DeBrun officially signed so that they Orioles have now gotten all their draft picks in order. $4 million signing bonus. Slot value is 2.65. And if you're sitting there thinking, wow, that is a massive overslot. The Orioles must have really liked this kid. The whole league liked this kid. In fact, prospect, scouts raving about him. Didn't think he'd fall that far. So absolutely massive get for the Orioles here. I think this is one of those. I know there are people who are upset going, oh, what's this going to do? Help the 2029 Orioles? I hope so. Because I can tell you one thing. There are people who, if you would have told them before the season that they are DFAing Brian Baker for absolutely nothing, they would sit there and be like, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. You turn that into the 37th pick and someone who multiple people, Jonathan Mayo told us, he goes, yeah, a lot of scouts told me if he was 2 inches taller, he'd be a top 15 pick. You like Corbin Carroll? Like Slade Caldwell? Like, this is a kid who the potential's there. There's a reason it took $4 million for him to come here, because if he goes to Vanderbilt and he continues on the path he was doing, he was a top 5 pick in the next 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Mayo, when we had him on, writer for MLB.com, MLB Pipeline, talked just about how much he loved Lil Slater DeBrun, and a lot of teams did. And they argued that if he was taller, he would have been a top tier first round pick this year, right? And he went 37th overall, so he went very damn high. And yet, that was the only reason that people thought, okay, the upside just is the size. But the comparison is to Corbin Carroll. Not that we like to do comps. And the reality now, which is a whole different world that we could go down this rabbit hole, Zach, but the Orioles had to give a lot more money too, because NIL in college, and especially at SEC schools, they could make a couple mil. Maybe it is $3 million for a couple years, or whatever the structure is, maximize their earnings, and then go back in and get drafted again and maximize it once more. And for Slater, if he plays up to his potential, he probably would go to Vandy, do his thing, and maybe even improve his draft stock. So the Orioles, they got Lil Slay in the building, and his journey and his professional career are going to be on the way. And we are on the way here on the Ryan Ripken Show. If you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We do this live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. So we're going to keep rocking and rolling, Zach. And before we get into, the Orioles won. Hey.
Yeah, Orioles won. I was going to say one more housekeeping, because actually thought this was good. Little positive news. We're talking about injuries and stuff. Making his return to the mound tonight. And the dean for the Ironbirds, Kyle Bradish.
Good kid.
Good kid, Kyle Bradish, coming back. He is on the mound tonight. So hoping for the best for him. Hope everything goes well. Nerves, all of that. And biggest thing, I know he wouldn't like it. I do not care if they come back and they're like, Kyle Bradish gave up 10 home runs and 10 batters and then left the game healthy. I'd be like, awesome, he left the game healthy. There we go.
Yeah,
that's what
please,
matters.
Yeah, please no one put any stock into any statistics for guys rehabbing back. The only thing you have to put into account is, do they feel good? Do they feel good? And they feel good. That is the number one thing that you want to hear, because at the end of the day, it's not about the results. The reality of rehab is getting back, getting healthy. And then as you continue to be able to notch up more outings, then yeah, you can rev it back up there. But Kyle Bradish, happy for him. Good kid, friend of the show, friend of the program, and one of my favorite teammates throughout the years. Good kid. Kind of Brad. Okay. Zach, before we continue on with some conversations, and I know we're going to have more people seem to be trickling in after this Orioles win, maybe we hit a couple of our fun things because it is, Thursday we hit on some songs. Yesterday we cooked with Kyle. Beautiful time. I want to get to some viral moments here, and I guess there's two that stick out to me at the moment so we can break this up. I did just see what Brad sent us. Do we start with that one or do we go to Chuck E. Cheese?
Do you have either real fast, or do you want me to bring up the Brad one? Because I can go down.
If you can download the Brad one, we can do that. And I can pull up the Chuck E. Cheese. All right. Does that work?
Let's do it. Let's rock and roll.
Well, also on a positive, going viral, Air Bud. If you were a kid, Air Bud is now coming back in 2026, by the way. So Ollie might be on his way. Front Office Sports put out a tweet earlier that says the franchise is bringing it back. It will premiere summer of 2026. And seriously, they need a golden retriever to get this done, Zach. I'm just saying, I got the dog, and he's got the dog in him.
I got the.
You got that one? Hold on. Let me put the Air Bud up real quickly.
Oh.
Look at that.
Oh.
That could be Ollie. Where are you, buddy? Oh, he's sleeping. He's sleeping back there. Sorry, buddy.
I will say one of my favorites. It's the dumbest joke ever. But that one video that always goes viral every once in a while, where it's like me in the car ride, the opposing team in the car home after losing to Air Bud. And it's the dad. And the kid's like, it's just dead silence. And the kid goes, he was really fat. And in the middle, the dad goes, he was a dog. Cracks me up every time. Every time. He was just so fat. He was a dog. Air Bud, though. A lot of people, I'll say it, may have traveled. But besides the point. Besides the point.
Okay. It is beside the point. And this is dog. Well, we got to figure out what we want the segment to be about, like, what in the hell is going on around the internet. Well, how about this, Zach? I got a photo of the Chuck E. Cheese situation. So apparently the man dressed up in a Chuck E. Cheese outfit was arrested at a restaurant in Tallahassee in full costume for credit card fraud. So I guess when you think about that out loud, right? It's like Chuck E. Cheese for the kids, but then you realize it's a real life, person inside of it. Can you imagine that this is what happens? And shout out Chuck Hobbs right there. They didn't even let the man take it out. Credit card fraud for Chuck E. Cheese. It's unbelievable.
Look at the kids in the back.
Do you think that they've had an experience like this so far in their life? And I mean, I would be mortified because I'd probably cry to be like, you are taking away my hero, And it's a real story. We're not making this up. It's a real story.
Do you not? I feel like you got to go up to him and be like, "Hey, we're not trying to make a scene out of this." Like,
so I will.
He must have.
I will read the rest of this because this is a fascinating story in today's what in the hell is going on. Here's the other photo, by the way, of the mascot. Kind of terrifying, but there it is. But here's the report that I'm reading off of Yahoo. Tallahassee social media is abuzz as locals share photos and video of renowned mouse, Chuck E. Cheese, being arrested by Tallahassee Police Department officers and being taken out of the restaurant as kids and families look on. While some question why police couldn't wait till the man was out of his costume, another photo later shows the arrested man unmasked with the Chuck E. Cheese mascot head on top of the squad car. So TBD spokesperson Jerome Maples confirmed the legitimacy of the photos and said that TBD arrested a man on 3 felonies. The Democrat has asked TBD for more information about the case and how it handles arrests at businesses when children and families are present. And you're right. Like, in all seriousness, when it happens in front of kids, like, you get a little worried about it because you're like, the kids' minds are fragile to this. And I mean by that, of like, imagine that they, for some reason, thought it was so cool. This guy is amazing. And all of a sudden, you got to ask your parents, why is Mr. Cheese in handcuffs? Right?
Is that what he goes by, Mr. Cheese?
Is he by Mr. Cheese? This still gets me. Like,
that's the picture. The other one's not. That's it. It's the hands behind the back, and it's the cop's face that's also making this. Of like, I can't. Like,
honey, what'd you do today? I
just
I
think about
arrested
this.
Mr.
Think
Cheese.
about everything that goes into becoming a police officer. You have to go to the academy. You have to go. Like, there's a lot that you have to do. You know, take time to. And then this is what you're doing.
Do you want me to pull up the? Okay.
I'm glad we both were trying.
It is. Here, let me.
It's not even funnier because cube cheese, so it makes sense there.
Hey, so there is the video of the man, and shout out whoever had the photo cred for this, or the video cred. I've been trying to look it up. I know it's going all around the internet, but they do have the video of the arrest of the head coming off Mr. Cheese. So
we have the video of the head coming off.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's like Scooby-Doo.
Here it is.
Nothing beats.
And he would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids.
Right on the top.
I like how he had to find a way to like. Wait. Here's my favorite. What if they would have taken the head off and it wasn't the guy they were looking for?
Then
what if they take it off and they're like, who is it? It's what? Then you have to let him walk back in, take the other Chuck E. Cheese out. Do they have two mascots working at once? Is that a thing?
It could be. But you're right. Like, did they need to arrest him in the Chuck E. Cheese or in the restaurant? Probably not. It didn't seem.
Can you let the man like?
I do
have
worry.
A changing room. Like, could you have been like, can you go put? Because here's the thing. Like, he then had to. Like, he walked into the jail with that on. Like, he was sitting in his holding cell wearing that.
Imagine then, like, Mickey Mouse is in the cell next to him, and the guy goes like, "First time."
This is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That would be
first time.
Well, I just like there's. I wish this. I'm not gonna lie. I wish this would have happened at night, so it could have been like towards when the cops have to bring everyone into the drunk tank, and it's a bunch of drunk people, and then it's like, is that Chuck E. Cheese?
Mr. Cheese. And one more time, it's
unreal, unbelievable.
And the kids are gonna have so many questions about that, but not even Mr. Cheese is above the law. Zach, we will talk about the O's here because there is something with Ramon Laureano. We have one more on what in the hell is happening out there, Zach. It is around, I guess, the Savannah Bananas. They've been on more of a tour, right? And do you have that video?
Yeah.
So I feel bad because this might have been, was it Rack?
I'm not sure.
I'm not exactly sure who the banana was, but he was trying to do a backflip on CNN.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
the feet went like the feet you can see right here. This is the thing. He lands it. I think he slips right. Actually, I don't know.
No, I don't think he landed.
I don't know what.
No.
Oh, why'd he go full belly flop? Wait a second.
That was full flying squirrel.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, he lost a shoe. Or was that after the fact? No, shoe was still on.
I think that's the. That's the.
What you just saw there.
Oh, you can't be laughing like that.
You can't. You got it. You can't pan to them there.
You can't.
Oh, Jesus.
That's a face of that just happened.
And he's done this thousands of times now, right? Thousands of times.
Is this?
And I think it is. I think it is Rack. And because he's the one that does a lot of the flips. And he's done this thousands of times. You know? But then the next step here,
I'm
you're right.
it now, yeah. It was Robert Anthony, aka
Right there is just like
you can't do a homie like that. You
You can't. Well, it happened.
That's just
It happened. But you know what? Also, shout out for him to even doing the flip. I can't do that at all.
Like,
and he
here's
crushes
the-
it every single time. It stinks that you're on CNN. You're here to do that and whammy flying squirrel, and you might be in concussion protocol. Like that was
this. Do we know if this was before or after his interview? Because if this is how he was introduced into this,
Ooh,
I'm
that's a
telling you
good
right
question.
now that like you hit, like, how are you supposed to do an interview after this? I wouldn't.
Oh no, I 1,000% would. You know,
If
and
I don't
you
know
me,
where I am,
well, you know me, I mess up shit all the time.
but I'm saying, like, I'm not talking about like embarrassed wise. I'm saying, how do you physically hit the ground that hard and then get your bearings after you just smack? And you're like,
I am serious about the
now have to
concussion.
do an interview.
I am serious about the concussion protocol.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he hits his head straight face plant onto a that does
Like,
not
okay,
look
I'm going to put the
that
sound.
looks like a marble
Here,
floor.
Listen to the sound.
Oh, Jesus.
That's bad.
That's seriously, that might, Maverick Hanley got put on the IL for a concussion. That felt like it could have been right there. Going bananas, right? Everything about it is just, man, I feel for him. And Rack, though, because I've watched him, he does that all the time. I've seen the videos, crushes it, and then here it is, whammy, you go to do it, and it doesn't happen. I don't know why it made me think of this other video, by the way. There's a video growing up, Zach, and this would probably be a 90s thing, and you would have been 4 in 2004. But it was a woman that was stomping grapes, and then she tried to get a little bit too aggressive with stomping grapes, and she falls out. Yeah.
At the big, like, and she's on the stand.
She's on the stand.
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
have
yeah.
seen it.
Yeah.
Stop, and then falls. I don't know why I get that feeling because it's way different, but that's where my mind went to.
Yeah.
On what the hell is happening right now. And yeah, Kieran, I think that's what I heard too. Let's. Oh,
Oh, Jesus.
So that's definitely their sound must be a little. There must be a delay or something, because unless she could just tell right off rip.
or just worried for him. I don't know, but for Rack, I hope he is okay. It looks like he shook it off. Justin, great question. Backflip in a straight line? I don't know what banana concussion testing could be.
Yeah.
They are coming to Baltimore here on August 1st or 2nd, you know? So we're going to have to see what is going to happen here. But holy shirts and pants, man. We're adding this to the week on what in the hell is going on. That might not be the name, but I kind of like the what did we just see? You know? What are we seeing? We had the positive Airbud. We started with the feel good, then Mr. Cheese, and unfortunately, Rack is
Hopefully he's okay.
Hopefully he is okay. Well, shirts and pants. Well, welcome everyone. If you're tuning in now, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We do this live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. Appreciate you guys. And we're live. We're having a good time. It is Thursday. It's the end of our shows for the week. And I know, Zach, with the game ending, I know you're going to eventually do the post-game live for the Orioles
if
winning.
you're looking for post-game live, we'll literally as soon as this curtain goes down on this,
might just start right up.
Yeah,
Whammy.
we're gonna hit end, and then I'm gonna start the live stream for the next one. So
And scene. You know, that's what it's going to be.
So if you want, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited for Kevin and Zach React with this soundboard because I'm gonna be making a lot of just.
And I'm wondering
That was a horrible siren.
Yeah, that was
an
terrible.
awful siren.
You know what I might end up doing then? Because I know with our Holy Shirts and Pants, I want to get the call-ins, but what I might end up doing for sake of time, because I want you to, we're going to talk about Ramon Laureano here and around football, but then you're going to do that. I'm going to hang out here a little bit with Ollie. So I might just go live after with Holy Shirts and Pants, still pull it up. We have some chats. We talk. I might get a workout so you can work out with me while we're doing this.
Workout with Rip.
Workout with Rip. Ripped with Rip. We might be doing that today. And you know what we're also doing today? We're saying the Orioles are back. They're not going to lose another game.
It's
just kidding.
That's so funny that you say that, because literally in my drafts, I just tweeted or have set win out the rest of the season, finish with 105 wins, run the table, World Series. It really is all right in front of them.
It's all right there.
Everything we want is right in front of us.
You know, the other thing that could have been what the hell happened was when Aaron Boone went off on John Boy.
Oh, I will give it to them, both of them. John Boy, that whole thing that they've had with Aaron Boone, where every Monday they pretty much have a 45-minute, conversation with
yeah.
Boone. That is, could you imagine if we had 45 minutes with Manzolino every week? Like, one, great on Boone. Like, I'll always respect him for doing that, because that is the last thing he needs to do, is to go on and have those conversations. I know some people say, like, they don't always ask the hard-hitting questions and stuff. You're not going to try to embarrass a guy that you do, you're interviewing every week. Like,
and also they did push the envelope at times. And
yeah, they do. People don't give them enough credit.
Well, it's with everything, right? And Cameron Maben, actually, I saw him on Foul Territory the other day, was saying about understanding there is a certain probably part where you can try to explain, but for a lot of the guys, at least my job is for people that haven't been around or in that circumstance, Zach, I try my best to have people understand situations. Like, that's what my goal is. And I know people can get upset of going, well, Ryan, you're a homer. Ryan, that's biased. No, I try to tell you what it actually is like in the clubhouse, not what should happen, or not the emotions of, man, this team sucks, because that was the interaction right there of John Boy saying, it looks like this team doesn't have the energy, and Boone was trying to say, guys react different ways, and how he answers a question after a game is not going to be how someone else answers the question. Yep. So he was trying to give an insight, but I understand John Boy's coming at it from a fan's perspective. Aaron Boone's coming at it from, this is how we do it in this clubhouse. And Cameron Maben was saying sometimes that's not always going to be articulated properly. But I'll tell you what, it was interesting to watch. And maybe one day we'll have something like that, because I always
I would love
the idea. Oh, yeah, it's great.
Even if it's not the next manager, just somebody give us. I mean, I will say the one person I think he's made for it. We probably would just have to get the Orioles approval, if anything. I would love to have a weekly segment, just 20 minutes with Cowser.
Cowser would be great. He would. I still want to get Dean in here to cook with us. I'd still bring it up to him. I go, Dino, you can't have a cooking page on Instagram.
Yeah, Dean.
And not
Dean's
cook.
too busy dealing. So selfish.
Yeah,
so
you know what? Just trade him, actually, right? Just trade him. Get him on out of here. Well,
or as Ryan Ripken would say, trade Felix instead.
Trade Felix. You know what? I don't like any of these guys. Any of these guys.
Breaking news. Ryan Ripken wants them to trade everyone.
Yes. Orioles win games. All good. Orioles lose games.
And I'm tweet the O's are fun.
And I'm the asshole. I might, we might do it. But live tweet it right now.
That would get a reaction. I already know people are gonna be upset with me saying win 105, win out straight. I'm sure people will still be like, everyone here's so unrealistic.
I do get a lot of messages of every single time the team loses.
Well, it's your fault, so that makes sense.
Yep.
I would blame the person whose fault it was as well.
Yeah, me and Taylor Swift, we got that one thing in common. It's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me. But you know what? If we're talking about moves and trade them, like, there actually is one player that we're going to talk about right now that is on the block, and that is possibly the Orioles' most valuable trade piece given his contract. And he's arguably one of the most underrated players in the game right now. The player I'm talking about is Ramon Laureano, who has been, Zach, the most consistent Oriole this year. Why? He's gone out there and balled out. And if you want to really go back to the beginning of the season, how many people didn't even want him on the team after the first 2 weeks of the season because he got off to a little bit of a slow start? But since he's gotten more opportunities, he ran with it. He's proven his value. And now we're having this discussion of, should the Orioles consider moving Ramon Laureano? Because John Morosi was on MLB Network talking about why Ramon might be a really good fit for a lot of teams. So let me pull up that clip for you guys, and then we're going to react to it on the other side. And it's right here. Whammy.
About. There's always that underrated deadline name who we're not paying attention to.
Lauren, one of Robert Flores' favorite players in the big leagues, Ramon Laureano of the Baltimore Orioles. You have to look at Laureano's numbers. There he is again. Now, he's already been in the playoffs 4 different times. His OPS this year on a disappointing Orioles team. Look at that, OPSing above 800. His best slugging percentage in 6 years. And Lauren, very importantly, yeah, he's a righty bat. His numbers are actually better this year against righties than they are against lefties. Now, he can play around the outfield, actually all 3 different positions in the outfield. So when you think about the number of teams that might be looking to add one more bat, I would mention the Seattle Mariners as a possibility. There are a lot of teams out there looking for that one last offensive upgrade. Maybe even a team like the Tigers, given some of their offensive struggles of late. So pay very close attention. Ramon Laureano, he is one of the key guys on Team Robert Flores, and he may well be moving somewhere else here in the next week.
So there it was from John Morosi about Ramon Laureano, and the reason why is because of how well he's playing and the deal that he's on. So, Zach, I'm going to pull up the contract situation here to get a better picture for those that are wondering why his value would be so high and why it would be higher than maybe some of the other expiring contracts. Is because, yes, he did sign a 1-year deal this offseason for $4 million with the Baltimore Orioles. But it's the kicker. It's the club option that comes with it. And with Ramon playing at the level that he's at, if you think that you can get a guy like this, even 3/4 of a type of player like this for next year, because the team that has him can exercise that club option for $6.5 million before Ramon could be a free agent in 2027. So at 31 years old, a guy right now that is playing the best as far as the Oriole outfielders are concerned. He has been stable. He can hit both right and left-handed pitching. He was supposed to be thought of just as he's better against lefties, but he's playing with a lot of confidence. And if you're looking to make a move, teams might be willing to spend more. Now, here's the other side of it. Do you want to give him up if you think he's going to be a part of your plans? Because you're going to have to replace that bat. I think Ramon is a fantastic addition. I think he fits in exactly with what Baltimore needs for next year. But I am really curious. I think he's the one name, Zach, I am constantly monitoring because I think that the Orioles would actually get quite a bit for him. And I think that could be enticing enough to move him.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about it this way. If you want me to go through the stats and talk about how important Ramon Laureano is to the Baltimore Orioles. If you go by league leader in home runs, or team leader in home runs, Ramon Laureano tied with Jackson Holliday with 14. How about RBIs? For the first time in months, actually, I believe literally since April, the Orioles have a new RBI leader. It's no longer Cedric Mullins. It is Ramon Laureano. How about we go to doubles? Ramon Laureano is second behind only Gunnar Henderson. And mind you, the only person really Ramon falls behind in this is Gunnar, and Gunnar has played in 95 games compared to Ramon's 75 and has 130 more at bat. So Ramon Laureano also, I'm going to call it a little outdated because this was after his home run in the first inning. But our guy, Avi Miller, doing this out. Ramon Laureano bumped his home run rate up to 5.4%, far and away the highest among Oriole regulars. And for reference, Gunnar Henderson's home run rate in 2024, when he hit 37 total, was 5.1. So he's hitting home runs at a better rate than Gunnar was last year. He leads the team in RBIs. Let me see real fast where he is in hits, remembering that he plays in has played in a lot less games. He's fourth behind Gunnar, Jackson, and O'Hearn. Has played 14 less games than O'Hearn, 20 less games than Gunnar and Jackson. So, I mean, this guy is probably the most important piece on the offense so far this year. And so it brings up the point, like you've said, I don't think the decision is necessarily, oh, how great, of a return can we get for him? I think the decision has to be made internally of, is Ramon Laureano a part of the 2026 Baltimore Orioles winning opportunity? And if your answer is yes, that you think that he takes over that role as that right-handed bat off the, whether it's off the bench, it's just your right-handed outfield bat. If you think that's the case, you keep him, because $6.5 million for a guy that's doing that is nothing. Is absolutely nothing. So if you want to win in 2026, I think you need to make the decision of, hey, can Ramon Laureano be on that team? Can he be a big contributor? If you find yourself answering it yes, then I don't think you trade, because I don't think that you're getting enough from a Ramon Laureano trade package to where that's helping in 26.
No, I agree. I think, again, the Orioles, it's still, to me, if you're looking at the core nucleus of the squad, right, and look around baseball, you need to identify what you have consistently lacked. And that, to me, is the idea of what your starting pitching rotation is going to be. And you can't continue to look at it from the standpoint of what it can be. You have to look at what it actually is, if that makes sense, because Kyle Bradish, you hope everything goes well. But we have to see what's going to play out here for the next 3-4 months going into the offseason and all of that, right? And if Kyle is feeling good, that makes you feel pretty good about him. But what about the other guys? If you move Zach Eflin and Tomoyuki Sagano, who both are on expiring deals, and Charlie Morton, that's 3 starters in your rotation. Who is going to be a part of it moving forward? Right now, Trevor Rogers and Dean Kramer are 2. You want to factor in Kyle Bradish, that's 3. And where I'm going with this is, I don't think you move Ramon Laureano unless there's a piece in there that you think can become one of your starters.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking at, one of your starting pitching options. And if you can't do that, then I think the value of what Ramon has is still very valuable to this team. But the other Achilles heel, or the thorn that's going to be decided with this, Zach, I really do think they got to figure out what they want to do with Tyler O'Neill. I think Tyler obviously can hit. It hasn't been a great year, to say the least. Great is a complete overstatement, by the way. I understand. Not played well and injured quite a bit. Your best ability is availability. So he hasn't played well and he hasn't been available. But if you're committing to Ramon coming back next year, then you have to figure out what you're going to do with Tyler O'Neill. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think that, in your opinion on Tyler O'Neill, I think this is where it becomes a question of, what do you do? Because, I mean, from your perspective, is there any way if you're Tyler O'Neill, you're not picking up the final 2 years of that?
I'm 1,000% after what's happened this year that Tyler O'Neill is going to pick up his deal.
I've seen some people like, well, it's not, automatic. He's picking it up. He might want a fresh start somewhere. That fresh start's not going to give him $50 million. That at the end of the day, that's still the human aspect of, hey.
And teams are not going to want to pick up that option for him, like for a trade, right? That someone's going to have to eat money if things were average along the way. Right, this is the business side. If he finished
this year with 25 homers, that's a down year for him power-wise. If he finishes it with 20, and he's not finishing it with 20 homers. If he would have, like you said, if he 23 homers, 75 RBIs, he had an average season, somebody would take the chance on him. Somebody would take the chance. But it was one of those, it was so bad. It was so bad that, unfortunately, he's picking up. And I will say, this could be a hysterical conversation to look back on if they do stick with Tyler O'Neill. And I do believe that he has insane power. We've seen it in previous years. And then he opts in, and then next year he has one of his 35 homer seasons, and everyone's like, we have him for a steal of a deal for the next year. So this all could change. Like, Tyler O'Neill last year, what were his?
Played over 100 games, 30 jacks.
And that's the thing. Tyler O'Neill, his 2024 stats, let me just get it officially because I want to make sure. 31 homers, 61 RBIs, batted 241. That's a lot different than the 3 homers, 11 RBIs, and 177 batting average. Like, that's the thing, is you can't play in 33 games. Even if he was healthy, he would have put up numbers that would have made it somewhat of a reality to be like, okay, we can keep this guy. Right now, it's probably the biggest elephant in the room when you're talking about team construction.
He essentially has 1 month of at bats for the season. He's played 34 games. So just a little bit over 1 month of playing this year. So where we go into this conversation, personally, I would like to see Ramon Laureano stay. I would like to see him continue to be a staple for what the team will do next year, because I think he's found a groove. He's comfortable. He likes Baltimore. And I like how he plays the game, Zach, right? But the business side is going to tell you, if you get what you're hoping to get, and for me, that means a starting pitcher that can help you for the future, I want that. And I see about Povich in here, John. Cade Povich would be in the conversation, but what's the problem right now? Health. So you're talking about reps in the big leagues to find out who you are. We just went through this already this year, where you needed guys to get better, find their footing. But if you have a trial and error with some guys that are still trying to find their footing, well, Cade Povich is not going to be a lock to be a starter in this rotation next year. And right now, I don't think it's fair to say he should be, because he has to go out there and prove it. And especially next year, more's going to be on the line. I like Cade Povich's ceiling and his upside. Health is important. Experience is important. And he hasn't been able to continue to do that this year. So for the Orioles, Ramon is going to be a hot topic, whether people like him being moved or not. And if you feel that you can get a top arm, well, that's something you're going to have to seriously consider. And then you have to let everything else kind of sort itself out. But we still got 1 more week away until everything is set and done for this 2025 trade deadline. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We do this live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. Little hey, how you doing? Up in here. I
got to say this because I guess it broke last night. Yeah. But it just, when it rains, it pours in Pittsburgh. Their 2nd round pick is going to UCLA. He's officially committed instead of signing with the Pirates. So, I mean, Slater DeBrun, he's coming to Baltimore, official, signed, sealed, delivered. But, I know people are upset about where the Orioles are.
If you're a Pittsburgh fan, dude.
My God. I will say the comments are very mixed bag. It's about half of Pittsburgh fans sending hate from Pittsburgh, which I think is just but the amount of Pittsburgh fans in his comments that are like, honestly, such a smart move, wishing you nothing but the best. I would have left too. I wouldn't come to this. And so many of them were like, if you're not drafted by a major league team, I wouldn't come either. Like, it's just, it's tough. The fact that even Pittsburgh fans are in the comments like, hey, it's okay. We get it. Like, I wouldn't want to come here either. That's tough.
It is tough. That's a little woof woof up in here. Y'all going to make me lose my cool, Zach.
Up in here.
Who is that?
Here.
Who sings it?
50 Cent.
No. X going to give it to you. What?
Why am I blanking now?
Don't give me that. You don't know.
No, I'm seeing it because it was, what's it called? I'm picturing the music video right now.
Good. So they gave you the answer. Yeah, he did fail the dog test, Joey.
Damn, X. Yeah, there it is.
X gonna give it to you. What? Well, we're giving you that information. We're having fun here. We're talking ball. We talk fitness. We talked about what the hell's going around this damn internet space and around the country and all that. But we got a couple things we want to touch on before we get on out of here. And Zach's going to just jump right on to Kevin and Zach Reacts right there. I'll be over here doing my thing with Mr. Puppy. I don't know. There's Mr. Puppy. He's hanging out over there. A couple little notes to close out on the football space. The Commanders, the Ravens and the Commanders officially are not going to have the same stadium.
Woo! I'm glad we could clear that up.
Still is. Yeah. We talked about it yesterday.
And I think we have the Eagles and Steelers should probably share a stadium since they're both in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Right?
Everyone shares a stadium.
Everyone shares a stadium.
Find a buddy and share a stadium.
Find your buddy. Buddy! Yeah,
exactly. And then you get Houston and you get Dallas, both in Texas. Beautiful.
Yeah.
We can make something happen. All Florida teams share.
I guess
all Florida and California teams share one stadium.
Yeah. Well, and like it can make sense for a big city. If you want to go like LA, I get that. But like Baltimore, DC, I know it's an hour without traffic away from each other.
Bengals and Browns sharing the stadium.
They're right? There's a lot of love.
Congratulations.
There's a lot of love.
Now, who else would then have to share a stadium? I like that New York did, and they didn't even put it in New York. They're like, what if we shared a stadium to save space? But let's not go here anyway.
Yeah.
Who else would have to? I'm trying to think.
Yeah. I don't know. Hey, a couple things, housekeeping for us before we get on out of here. Oh, I guess New York, Buffalo, and the Giants. Yeah, that could be one.
Oh, yeah, I guess Buffalo's got it. Damn, Buffalo just made that new state. That's where they're going. Everyone's got to travel up to Buffalo now.
I mean, I got to be honest. I love going up to Buffalo. I had a great time making the trip to Buffalo. That was a fantastic time. The other football notes that are going around that JJ Watt wanted people to be reminded, do not look at training camp stats. They do not matter. You don't know the context, and we will leave it at that. I agree. If you're in the fantasy football, Michael Penix Jr. came out and said, Kyle Pitts is getting the ball. Going to be a lot of that during the season. And Zach might continue to go back to the ball. Don't be so upset. And maybe with that,
I'm upset because it's going to happen again. Like, I'm not upset that he said it. I'm upset that it's going to lead to me once again selecting Kyle Pitts for the 5th consecutive year. And by week 6, telling myself he did it to me again. Like, that's why I'm upset. I'm not upset that he's saying it or that it's being put out there. I'm upset that I'm falling for it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not his fault that everyone's falling for it. I'm going to fall for it.
You are.
Kyle Pitts is there in the 6th round. He's coming home.
He's coming on home. He's coming on home. And hey, I want to make sure we give a shout out to our friends up at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. Boom. We can't get out of here before we do that. Talk about going home. We do have another football event that's going to be right around the corner at this point. We're going up for a little football kickoff. I think it might be week 1 too, Zach. So we might be up there at Charlestown Races having a good time. And our group that's been there, Joey's in the chat. You come up there, you probably are going to be on the show with us. And we're hanging out there. There's going to be a big, let's just say a legend of the game from what I've heard. But I don't want to kiss and tell until that is completely out in the open. But football season's right around the corner. Training camp obviously is going on right now. And the Ryan Ripken Show, we're going to be back up there having a time. And with that and with all the TVs, Zach, that is actually going to be pretty wild.
I'm excited.
Very excited. Very excited.
I texted my friend the other day, and I literally was like, it's my friends I do fantasy football with. And I literally put in the group chat, I was like, someone set a reminder to remind me to bet parlay CeeDee Lamb and Saquon Barkley touchdown first game of the year. So mine's already set. So when we're walking, obviously that's going to be the first game. But Sunday, like, there's things are going to be in motion when we get up to Hollywood. Things will be in motion.
Oh, we are going to be in motion. Hip, hip, parlay.
Parlay.
Hip, hip, parlay. But we appreciate our friends at Hollywood Casino Charlestown Races in West Virginia. You know, speaking of like with betting or for NFL or for fantasy, what happens here with Justin Fields, and that was the other news, that was probably the biggest news sports-wise in the NFL, is that he dislocated his toe, was carted off. And my heart sank on that initially. I'm like, damn, man, I thought it was even going to be way worse, but we don't know the severity of it yet.
I will say, I hope he is okay. When I heard toe after carted off with lower leg injury, like, I will say I was very much like, okay, maybe we avoided something, you know, because obviously we go, your mind starts wandering when you get the, hey, carted off with lower, like, we know the injuries that start going through your mind of, hey, season's
ending.
over.
Yeah.
So that's the spot where you're like, oh boy. So hearing toe still could be a long recovery, but I do think that was probably one of the, not best case, because obviously him being completely fine would be best case, but there were some probably worse options that could have happened. So hopefully he comes back, because I was really excited for Justin Fields in New York. Like, I still am.
But you wonder now with his ability,
Yeah.
the thing is, his game is extend plays, he can run, and I do think he was going to sling it to Garrett Wilson, but we'll save our fantasy football thoughts for a different day. And our Holy Shirts and Pants members, we will have the Fantasy Football League for those that are interested. And if we need to make multiple leagues for HSMP members, then we certainly will. And we'll do the draft and do that whole damn thing. Click that join button if you're interested in being a Holy Shirts and Pants member. And lastly, we are getting closer. We're 3 weeks away from the BMW Championship. Don't let me forget that you guys could be a part of the whole experience there. FedEx Cup BMW is coming to Baltimore right here in the backyard. And we like to talk about great events, right? I mean, hell, next month, I believe Ice Cube's coming in. We saw the Savannah Bananas are coming to Baltimore. Well, Caves, some of the best golfers in the world, and you can argue that 2021 tournament with Cantlay and DeChambeau was one of the best tournaments of the year. And it's a beautiful course up there at Caves Valley. And Zach, as you've learned, BMW Championship is the third oldest tournament in all. There you go.
Yeah, is it third? Yeah,
Third.
it's third, because it's the Masters and then the British Open.
Well, it's the Open.
Well, the Open. Sorry, the Open.
The Open.
The Open.
The Open. Which your boy Xander helped get your guy here. Third selection in the draft. I got to pick. Do I pick 3rd to 12th in my fantasy draft? I
would go 12. Wait. Is this redraft?
Keeper side. You know what? We're gonna have to table that for a different time.
There was when we start getting fancy football, people forget that we had a 17-hour drive down to Florida, and about 16 and a half of it were spent trying to
make trades with Mike Bauman.
Yeah. With Mike Bauman, which is a lot harder than it is when he's in Japan.
It's very hard. It's very hard now.
When we start off the drive and he's going to bed, and then he wakes up and we're like, yeah, we're still in the car. We're still going if you want to trade.
Yep. Yes, it is. But if you are interested, though, on the golf side, if you are interested, the BMW Championship, it's right on the website. And they have a lot of different options, by the way. They have some tickets that are going for like $30 the last time I checked.
Yeah.
So, and if you want the full experience, they have it. But if you want to bring the next generation of great golfers, 15 and under, if you buy a ticket, they can get in for free, I believe, is what they are running there at the BMW Championship. And that is August 12th to the 17th is when the festivities start there. And Caves Valley, the golf course, is just about 20, 25 minutes north of Baltimore City. It's beautiful. And I got a chance to play on the media day up there, Zach. Did I play well? Absolutely not. But did I have a good time? I had a good time with the people around me, and the course is beautiful. But I'm a competitor, and I wasn't happy with my performance. So, once again, it's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me. Okay. We got anything else we got to do?
I don't think so. I think that pretty well covers it. I don't think we have anything else, do we?
Well, also, one more little side note, or we can save it because we're going to mention it next week. But if you're a military member, they're also going to honor any active military for admission to the BMW Championship, by the way. Just saying. So go to BMWChampionship.com for more. We are going to get on out of here. Zach is going to get live right after this.
Yeah, so if you want to hop right over to Kevin and Zach React, we're going live in like 5 minutes. So go do that. I actually just put it up there. So the channel is set up, the link. Go head on over there. We're going to keep talking about the Baltimore Orioles and avoiding the sweep. But that's going to do it for this edition of the Ryan Ripken Show.
Yeah, baby, boom, baby, can we? And don't worry, if we're still here, I might be spinning and you might see me working out on the Holy Shirts and Pants level here. But cue the music. Hum now.
And Trizzle on Kevin and Zach React will be live.
Kevin and Zach React is next. As always, here at the Ryan Ripken Show, have a day, have a night, have a great stinking Thursday. Don't worry, Rip After Dark, it might be coming your way here tonight or tomorrow on the channel. But coming up next, Kevin and Zach React right over on YouTube. Pop on over, guys. Be good. Enjoy yourself.